This is the quick tale of how Regional 1 Medical Center, the #3 trauma hospital in the country, went from stripped down big wheels to Prime X electric in their trauma bays. Basically, I went into the unit and tried to build relationships and quickly realized that my director was a bit of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and was very standoffish. So as I assessed that they needed stretchers, they also had a mattress issue, and I needed to build trust within that unit. So every time I was in the unit, and I tried to go there once a week, not only did I talk to the staff about what they needed, but I started photographing mattresses because the staff kept telling me that their director would not buy mattresses and the mattresses were severely compromised. So I would photograph the mattresses and I would send her every week a quick note with what I'd be willing to do. I could come do an assessment and here's what mattresses would cost. And then I'd stop by her office afterwards. And after about 2 months of doing this, she called me into her office and was like a totally different person, super nice, and told me that she had some trauma funds, but she wanted stripped down basic stretchers and that I should work with one of her one of her managers. So I met with the manager and I just kind of casually mentioned that there were some other things that I thought would meet their needs a little bit better, and got the managers to nod her head that that was good. And I set up to bring in a Prime TC as well as a big wheel electric as well as a Prime X electric because, I mean, it's a trauma center. Surely they should have the best trauma stretcher available. Well, the day before the truck was to deliver at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I got a call from the director ready to bite my head off and eat me for lunch. She was furious that I was trying to slip in high-tech stuff and that things she didn't want her unit to see. So I let her vent and stayed very calm, apologized for the miscommunication, and I had to turn the truck around at that point, and because they were refusing to take delivery. I went to the hospital the next day. I sat down with her, went through again why she needed to see this, and that if she saw it at the dock and didn't want it in her hospital, I would turn it around. I wouldn't bring it in. But I was confident that it was the equipment that her team needed clinically to do their jobs more efficiently and to take care of their patients better. And she agreed to that. So put in another request, came back to the hospital where she was so excited initially about the Prime TC that she took off with it running through the hospital straight to the CNO and twirled it around, had the CNO come down to the trauma center and see the Prime X in the bays. I then spent days, weekend, night shifts at the hospital so that I could touch the physicians, the radiology techs, as well as the nurses. I worked with all of them, and my docs didn't want to necessarily fill out an evaluation form, but what I did is every doc, as x-rays were being taken, I asked if they were satisfied with the quality and if they could just give me a quote. And so I'd write down my quote and I'd write down their name. And then I had the nurses and the radiology staff fill out evaluation forms. And again, in this particular case, she was not willing to buy the units at full price. So I looked for demos, and we had some demos because I was convinced that if we could get some in that unit, get them to start using it, that eventually they would purchase additional stretchers. So in the end, we sold 2 Prime TCs, 4 Prime X electric, and 11 big wheels with lots of features, including scales. It was a great win, and they absolutely love it.